Jerry Mallory here, SBNationPrideBetrayed.com. If I look disheveled, if I look, miffed, irked, it's because I am. And you know why. After this game, I just had to leave my home. Started walking the streets of Detroit and Ferndale, Hazel Park. A lot on my mind, a lot of thinking. And definitely during the game and certainly after, had to do a little bit of this because it was that type of game and that kind of result. So I've got a lot on my mind. Here we go. Starting off, a lot of talk in terms of the Lions getting screwed, the referees, bad calls, and sure, the referees didn't do a good job. They did a bad job. A lot of calls that should have went our way didn't, should have went against the Packers did not. But that's one of 1,000, 2,000 reasons why the Lions lost this game. And if I'm doing a list and I'm ranking reasons why they lost, there's a lot of things I'm putting before the referee, such as the offensive line. Now, I don't watch every snap of every other game. And I don't care what Pro Football Focus or any other statistical, analytical site or source is going to say. From my naked eye, like I said, I watch a lot of football. And I see the time some quarterbacks have. And I see the line and the holes that some running backs have. To me, from my own plain Jerry naked eye view, the Lions have the worst offensive line in the NFL, and it reared its ugly head today. No type of pocket, no type of time for Matt Stafford to execute. So that's definitely going to be near the top of the list. Stafford's going to be, there to blame. A lot of missed passes, a lot of dropped balls. The fumble from Bell was huge. I mean, key opportunity for us to tie this thing up, get back in it. Can't have that. The defensive line not bringing pressure. This is the third game on the road against a marquee, talented team where our front four was non-existent. And you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's basically a gimp. He's on one leg. Get some hits. I'm not even talking about quarterback sacks. Get some hits. Get this guy out the game. And it's not that you're trying to injure a guy, but bring some pressure. We couldn't do it. Just like we couldn't do it against Arizona. Just like we couldn't do it against New England. And so it's frustrating. Third road game in a row against a big, playoff marquee team. And the defensive line, where were they? Not enough pressure, not enough hits, much less getting a sack or two. It just wasn't there. So there's tons of things that I'm blaming before the referees. Heck, even the Fox announcers is getting blamed before the referees. So it's disappointing. Also, in the spotlight, the Lions having a chance to really seize the moment on the road. They were like a deer in headlights. For my city folk, when those lights came on, the Lions were like cockroaches. They started scattering. They were nowhere to be found. They were scared. Whereas the Packers, when the lights went up, they rose to the occasion. And it's because they've been there before. Maybe this time next year, the Lions will be in this spot again, and it'll be different. But it's disappointing because opportunity came this year. The lights went up, big opponent on the road, and they did not deliver. Okay, so we have to talk about the Ndamukong Suh Stump 2.0. We've seen plenty of these stumps. Rayola cost him a game. Suh did it a few years back. Cost him a couple of games. What about Suh? First off, I do think it was intentional. When you step on, like the Fox announcer said, one thing they did say was right. When you step on someone, when you step, on a leg, on a limb, that's not turf. That's not grass. You feel it. You hop up. You look. Suh didn't do that. Not only did he not do that, he used his other foot to step, not so much stump, but to step on Aaron Rodgers. I don't think it's going to cost him a game. NFL usually, they try to lean away from suspending guys, games for the playoffs, even if he gets hit with a big fine or a game next year. I don't think it was egregious enough to the point where he'll miss an also important playoff game, but it is the Lions, and it was against Aaron Rodgers, the Golden Boy, so anything can happen. Hey, I've got a joke. What does Eric Ebron and puberty have in common? They both drop balls regularly. I mean, this Eric Ebron guy, yeah, he's blocking better, catching a little bit more. But a game like this, you're drafted number 10, the more you think about it, if you draft a tight end number 10, he better be Hall of Fame or close to it, and it's disappointing. And it's 1 year. I'm not giving up on this guy. It's just sad when you look at this year's production from the draft and last year. Last year, I mean, hit after hit, guys producing, Ansah, Slay were starters. Sam Martin produced. You had guys that were undrafted like Fourier and Waddell. These guys all produced. This year, exact opposite. Eric Ebron not doing anything, and he was the 10th pick. Man, how good would we look if we had Aaron Donald, who's going to the Pro Bowl? I mean, now you got him. You can feel a little bit better if Sue doesn't come back or Fairley doesn't come back. Even not having Fairley out there because of injury, or Kelvin Benjamin, uh, Zach Martin, Taylor Lewan, Odell Beckham Jr. The production from this year's draft class, Van Noy hasn't done anything, and last year's is startling. 13-14, it's a big difference, and maybe a game or two could have been shifted one way or another if some of our rookies would have stepped up a little bit. But like I said, Ebron and Puberty, they got a lot in common, and we saw that, and it's reared its ugly head. We talked about it before the draft, and we saw it, unfortunately, in the biggest game of the year. But guys, at this point, a horrible game. Let's look at the positives. Do you have any? I was waiting. That was the point where one of you guys were going to, swoop in from a graphic and say what the positives were, because I don't have any. I'm not looking at anything positive. This game wasn't positive. None of you popped up on the screen via graphics and explained any positives. There wasn't really from this game. I'm not going to sit here and put lipstick on a pig. It was ugly. We had an opportunity. Green Bay didn't, just come out there and New England us. We shot ourselves in the foot too many times, and I hate to say it, but the better team did what they had to do. I can't even get those words out of my mouth. I can't even say WON, but the better team did what they had to do. The better team won, I will say. So, that's that. We're moving on, looking at Dallas. A glimmer of hope. Well, we've defeated Dallas a number of times in the last few years. I don't like stats, for the record, that go back 5-6 years or more. So being 0-20 whatever against Green Bay, to me that's garbage, because half of those guys in 91, and I know it's part of history, but that has nothing to do with these players. Back in 93, some of them weren't born. Most of them were young. Like me in 93, I wasn't even watching the Lions yet. I was 8 years old. I was close. I was close to watching the Lions, but I've never seen them personally beat Green Bay and Lambeau. But a stat like over the last 2 or 3 years, when you got players that's still on our team, players that were on this team, it does matter. And yes, we have had success against Dallas, in Dallas the last couple of years. Also, Dallas only 4-4 on the road, or rather at home this year. They were 8-0 on the road. That's big. I mean, to me, that's like, wow. But at Dallas, they struggled a little bit. So, being only 4-4, that's a glimmer of hope. But we'll talk about plenty of Dallas later. At this point, a couple more of those. And that's it, man. Disappointing game. Your thoughts? Oh, one bright spot. Usually for me, I watch the game in about 30 seconds of a delay because of my schedule. This game, I was able to watch it live, and because of that, I was able to go to privatetrade.com and really congregate and to speak and to chat with my fellow Private Trade brothers on the open thread section. If you haven't done that yet, please do so. Lions fans, lots of entertaining comments. Yeah, there's a lot of panicking going on, but it's funny, it's fun. I normally don't get a chance to do it. Like I said, I'm 30 minutes behind. That would obviously spoil the game for me. But because of the fact that I was watching it live, yes, I was able to join you guys. So go to privatetrade.com. Every game, there's a game thread. Lots of fun. Even if you don't want to post, lots of entertaining reads. So that's one good thing I'll say. All right, guys, leave your thoughts, comments in the allocated sections. All is not lost. We have an opportunity. I'll leave with this. Teams like Pittsburgh, teams like the Green Bay Packers themselves, the Giants on a couple of occasions, these teams have something in common. They had to go on the road and win 3 games. They were the 5th or the 6th wild card team. They had to win 3 road games to get to the Super Bowl. Do I think the Lions will do that? Honestly, no. However, if you do it, if you get there, with all that adversity, winning 3 road playoff games, the momentum is certainly in your favor, more so than a team that had a first-round bye, more so than a team that had a playoff game or 2 played on their home turf. If you have to go on the road, which is what the Lions are going to have to do now if they want to make it to the Super Bowl. And I know I'm thinking far ahead, but if you have to go on the road and win 3 road games just to get there, once you get there, you're hot, you're rolling. Maybe, just maybe. Do I think it'll happen? No. Is it possible? Yes. So I'll leave you with that. All right, guys, until next time, which will be a day or two, we got a lot to talk about. We don't have time for this week in between videos. I mean, this is do or die, nothing but action, nothing but videos. I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching.